Liars, leakers, and liberals, the case against the anti-Trump conspiracy, and the perfect person to get reaction. I think off the top here, big news, the IG report is coming out next week, next Thursday. You got Andrew McCabe asking for immunity. You've got this report coming on the president's birthday. All this is going on. Of course, he's heading to the G7 summit, then North Korea. Help analyze all of this for us.
Well, the good news is that the report is coming out on the president's birthday. It'll be a birthday present because we already know what's going to be in that report. Not that we've seen it, but the report is to investigate the actions of the DOJ and the FBI on the handling of the Clinton email case. We already know from Rod Rosenstein himself that everything that was done by Comey, by stepping out of his own lane, making like he's the attorney general, and then basically saying, you know, she was reckless. And she said, I mean, things that should never have been said by anyone in any role as FBI or AG. Now, the significant thing right now is that McCabe, in asking for immunity, sends a huge signal. Number one, he's asking for immunity because he is under a criminal investigation right now, so he doesn't want to appear before Senate.
Can I stop you 1 second?
Yeah.
Because, well, you know, the Senate's not going to jail you. The Senate committee's not going to jail you. What's he asking for immunity for? Just so he's going in front of this committee. But his problem is here. Right?
Yeah.
His problem is here. So what does one committee testimony have to do with this criminal problem?
Everything.
Then how can a committee give you immunity?
They give you use immunity, not transactional immunity. And I don't want to get into the weeds here, but it would. And he's got a very good lawyer. It would be at this point.
You think they'll give it to him though?
Oh, no, I don't know.
No.
I doubt it. But here's the issue. If he wants immunity, it's to protect himself in the criminal investigation. Nothing I say here I want to be used against me. But the other issue is that he needs immunity from what? Exactly. What will he testify to? Sure. He's deputy director of the FBI. Is he going after the head of the FBI, or is he going to talk about Obama?
Sure. All right. Because you've got this new book coming out, Jeanine, regarding... hold on. Let's go to this. Because you've got this book coming out about leakers.
Yeah.
How about the jaw-dropping news that somebody from essentially the deep state, a guy who has been the director of security for the Senate Intel Committee, he has been charged, his name is James Wolfe, been there for 29 years, with lying to the FBI about leaking to reporters damaging information about the Trump administration.
Well, and that's what we've seen across the board. That's what we've seen across the board here. And, you know, I would have thought by this point we'd hear from more people being prosecuted. And by the way, what is everybody in Washington doing? He's got a girlfriend that you know, he's leaking to.
Welcome to DC, Judge.
And Page. I mean, why don't they just do their job? We might not be in the bottom of a barrel if they did their job.
But while they have relationships going, it's jeopardizing national security. Yes. And now it's got you have a reporter, you have a guy who's had that job for 30 years leaking to a BuzzFeed reporter who's now a New York Times reporter. Right. And one theme is it damages the president. That's the theme.
That is the theme. That's the intent. You get the text messages from Strzok and Page. There was a deep state agenda to make sure that President Trump was teed up for a collusion.
We really need to get to the bottom of what happened at the FBI during the Comey years.
James Comey said Andrew McCabe stood tall, was just this model leader, and now he wants immunity because he knows he's in jeopardy with his conduct over this investigation.
Giving Mr. McCabe cover through immunity would be a mistake.
I would not give him immunity. I would make him go. If he's going to plead the Fifth Amendment, then he should plead the Fifth Amendment.
It is very, very unusual. I have to tell you, unheard of for the number 2 person in the FBI saying, you want me to testify? Give me immunity.
All right, let's talk about it with our panel. Jonah Goldberg, senior editor at National Review. Susan Page, Washington bureau chief at USA Today. And Byron York, chief political correspondent of the Washington Examiner. Welcome to all of you today. Okay, so this discussion about McCabe immunity, Jonah, it comes ahead of, we are waiting now for the Inspector General's report. Are they connected?
I'm sure they are connected. How and in what way remains to be seen. I'm very much in favor of getting all the information out here, whatever it is, about Comey, about all of it. I'm not sure it tracks to say we have to get to the bottom of this, as Cornyn was saying, and no way should we give this guy immunity. If that's the way you get the information out of him, the argument may go the other way. It seems to me there is an interest in the optics, which are very bad for McCabe, very bad for Comey, to have the #2 guy to FBI pleading the fifth. But if we actually want to get the information, I'm agnostic. If he deserves to go to jail, I want him to go to jail. If he doesn't deserve it, I don't. But I really think the American people need to get the information.
Yeah, well, the U.S. Attorney now looking into what was found by a separate Inspector General report about that particular issue, whether there will be criminal liability. In the meantime, Senator Chuck Grassley, who of course chairs the Senate Judiciary Committee, says before even beginning to consider whether to initiate the process of immunity, the committee would need to know a lot more about the anticipated scope, nature, and extent of your testimony. So, Susan, it sounds like they're leaving the door open to the possibility.
Well, of course, it's his constitutional right to either take the fifth or to demand immunity if they expect him to testify. But I agree, optics is the word of the day, that the #2 guy at the FBI, you do not expect him to find himself in this situation, but he must be so surprised to find himself in this situation, too, after a career in the FBI, like he's 2 days away from retiring, and he gets caught into this continuing controversy over the Clinton emails and over his the allegation that he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal and then misled investigators about it. It has got to be a shocking thing for him and his family to be looking at.
Well, and obviously what the Inspector General found in that initial report was that there was something less than fully honest in a number of these. And he and Comey were at odds about who was right, what information they actually shared. Comey's praised him publicly, but now should Comey be worried about what McCabe may say that could influence or hurt him?
And there's more that Comey should be actually worried about. The connection between the immunity request and the IG report is because the Senate Judiciary Committee has scheduled a hearing to discuss the IG report once it's made public. They had scheduled one for June 5th. That didn't happen. They scheduled the next one for next Monday, June 11th, and it looks like that might not happen, but it's going to happen fairly soon. They wanted McCabe to testify. Now he's asked for immunity, and there's more than just the Comey versus McCabe. I leaked, but you told me I could. No, I didn't. There's more than that. There's talk about there's information about when McCabe took a long time to recuse himself after his wife got a lot of political contributions that were kind of linked to the Clintons. And McCabe was involved in every other decision in this Clinton thing. So it's not just Comey versus McCabe.
Well, and another name in the mix, obviously, Susan, is Peter Strzok. I mean, how much do you think he is sort of wringing his hands and waiting for that report to come as well?
You know, the thing is, he was an FBI agent working on this case, and because of these very intemperate texts he sent to his girlfriend denouncing President Trump, he is seen as, I think, tainting the efforts he was doing when he was working for the FBI. That may or may not be fair, but he is now an inflammatory name when you see in things like one controversy of the day is the fact that the GSA turned over a lot of information from the transition team to Mueller without a subpoena, without going back to the Trump transition team to get permission. Strzok was part of that. It's as though we are in such a world of investigation that there is no element that does not get caught up in this spaghetti.
All right. Also, the Congress has been very busy with investigations, but now they're going to be busy in at least the Senate side in August, thanks to Senate Leader Mitch McConnell saying they're going to be in session. Here's the top Republican and Democrat from the Senate talking about what they might be doing.
Why don't we get something done on the issue that numerous polls say is the #1 priority of Americans, health care? We Democrats, our entire caucus, believes this previously unscheduled session time can be put to good use.
We need to confirm more of the president's team and judicial nominees. We need to take up regular appropriation bills. We need to tackle legislative priorities like the water infrastructure bill, the farm bill, the defense bill, and many others.
All right, Jonah, so both sides have laid out a pretty ambitious schedule. Does any of that get done? What does get done?
Yeah, I mean, there are conspiracy theories, or it's too strong a word, but there are theories that what McConnell's doing is trying to pull back Democrats from the campaign trail in August and make them be stuck here because the Democrats have a harder time in the Senate matchup. And then there are other people who say, no, this is what this is really all about, is putting a gun to the Democrats' heads so he can cram more judges through. I don't see why we have to pick one of those, but I don't think that there's going to be some. This is not going to be, like the first 100 days of the New Deal coming out of D.C. in August.
All right.
Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America.